Good afternoon, everyone. We are here, we are here, we are here. Let me write. We're trying something new today, y'all. I am. All right. I'm trying something new. Instagram is starting. And so is this broadcast. So if I did this correctly, you guys should be able to see it here on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm not even checking, but also on YouTube Live, if I did it right. I don't know if I did it right though. So we will see. We will see, we will see, we will see. Let me, while you guys are coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to see what's happening. This is funny. My husband totally said, he totally said, don't do this right now, test it first. But I was a little impatient and wanted to do it now. So let's see. Let me mute this. It should be okay. Yeah. Okay. I can exit that. Let's see if you guys get this at all. Hold on. Because it looks like it's having trouble. Let's see. I don't know. I hope you guys are getting this. I can't tell. We will see. No, I don't want to do that. Because then that will... Hi, honey. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm trying to do this whole thing. I'm not sure if it's working. I can't tell. So let's see. I'm also promoting this on Facebook, but I don't know if it's working. So we'll see. And that is a crazy picture. I think I got it to work. Let's see. We will see. We will see. So I'm going to put it here. All right. I think I got it to work. I just posted it. Hi, Mama. I just posted it. So we'll see. As if we can't get it to work. It's going to be funny. Okay. How are you, sister? All right, so I see the post came through. And all right, we are officially live. Yay! It's live on Facebook, which means it's also live on YouTube, and I'm not even going to go over there to see, which means that if you have questions there, that I can answer them in either place, which is phenomenal. And I'm going to stop looking. It looks like it's a little bit of a 3-second delay. I'm gonna stop looking down. So there's all this stuff happening here. You can't tell. There's camera here, there's computer here, there's phone here, and then there's stuff everywhere so we could get it to work. And this is my first time trying this, just so you know. trying it this way. I'm trying really, really hard. Hey, Nee Bean, how are you? So I want to jump in because I'm probably going to have to cut this short in like 20 minutes or less. So we'll see. Hold on one second, guys. I just want to say, come on in. This will be short and sweet. And this is going public, change, post, done. Okay, did it. Hi, honey. Yes, it is. It is Sexy Thursday time. I love how you say that. Sexy Thursday, Sexy Thursday. All right, I'm going to stop looking down now unless I see questions come up because everything's positioned differently. You guys know I'm usually over here and there, and you get into these habits that we solidify, and then it's hard to break around and challenge it. And on Facebook, I probably look like half of me. I'm literally sitting on like 3 pillows so that I can be tall enough to see up there, which is where the camera is. It's a whole thing. Hi, Michael. Welcome. All right. So for those of you who are just coming in, Facebook, YouTube, or IG, because if we did it right, it should be everywhere on those 3 platforms at least right now. You'll see me looking down sometimes because I am looking specifically at IG, which is on my mobile. Hi. And then up here is when I'm looking directly at Facebook and YouTube. So welcome, everyone. I want to dive in, and I really want your questions if you have them. So please put them in the box if you have it. If you agree with something and you are on one of the social apps that you can put hearts or happy faces or thumbs up or any of that, make sure you do that, because then you confirm that I'm on the right page. Or you can say thumbs down, Naketa, I am not in agreement with that. And it is okay. This is a safe space to agree to disagree. It is totally okay. I welcome it as long as we play in the sandbox of respect. I'm all good. Because if we don't, my block game is so good. But let's just play in the sandbox of respect with how we agree or disagree, right? So I'm excited about this. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, this is Let's Talk Intimacy Live, most Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. when we're not running into technology issues. I go live right here, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been falling between 11:30 and 12 just because we're just trying to figure out how to really broaden the message and get it out. And technology has not been my BFF. Let me just say that. But with all that said, I'm really excited to be here. My name is Naketa Thigpen. I'm a balance and relationship advisor. I mostly work with ambitious women in business and a few brave men. They usually show up as like entrepreneurial spirits and entrepreneurial leaders in the way that they show up in the world. And ultimately, I'm helping you all who identify that way, as amplifying your intimacy within and across all of your relationships. So yes, we are talking about the sexy things at home in your love relationships and your intimate partner relationships, but we are also, most importantly, talking about the self-intimacy you have with yourself, self-love, self-care, like all that good stuff, and how it sprinkles out to the people that we love and care for, as well as the people we work with. As we typically work with them for 10, 12 plus hours, and we see those people more than we see our families sometimes, especially during a traditional work week. So a lot of what I do is all of that so we can increase that intimacy across the board and make sure that you can retain the people in your life that you want to retain, whether that's your employees, your leaders, your line, or whoever you work with. Obviously, your lover, have a healthy relationship with your kids, your siblings, and your friendships, your sisterships and broships. So it's all pegged under what I call creating your balance and creating your joy, which I've been doing in my own way for a little over 20 some years at this point, actually a little bit more than 20 some years. I'm trying not to date myself. I'm also trying not to fall off these pillows that I'm sitting on right now, in case you're wondering, because I am only 5'2¼ we had to make this work, so my head would be like above the chair. But anyway, So that's what I do. And on this LTI, Let's Talk Intimacy Live, we are usually talking about the personal sides of intimacy, the work intimacy, retaining your employees, your customers, attracting your right customers, your right clients, and maintaining their loyalty, regardless of whether or not you're doing, official work with them or giving them an updated product in that moment or not. That loyalty matters. But this is not the place that we play that. We play that game in a different platform called the Intimacy Advantage, which is coming out in 2020. So for Let's Talk Intimacy, I love to talk, as someone said here, sexy Thursday things. So we're talking about everything as openly as we possibly can, but it really depends on you, because I don't really have a filter, so I'll let things slide. I'm a licensed clinical social worker by background, a sex therapist. I'm trained in human behavior, neuroscience, DBT, CBT, and all that good stuff, and so many more alphabet soup things more that qualify me to be here. If you are concerned, Google me. I keep it as simple as that. If you have questions, feel free to email me at asknaketa@thigpro.com, and I will be happy to do that. And I say that intentionally because lately there's been a lot of noise in the social front, just amongst people all together, where they're like, what's your credentials? Not to me specifically, but I'm seeing that more. I say, keep it simple. Google me. You'll find everything you need to know. But today, I really wanted to briefly, just for a moment or two, talk about what is important for all of us, and that is the courage to create and catch greater, right? So creating greater means creating greater environments for ourselves, greater lives for ourselves, greater opportunities for ourselves, which typically require us to show up. First and foremost, you got to show up in those places that you always said you didn't go. If you always say, oh, I don't go to the movies by myself, or I don't go to restaurants like that, or those type of places, or I'm not saying you got to go to the club. Most of us on here are well over 21. And although there are some, classier, sexy places for grown folks to go and play, it's not necessarily the place that you want to go to create an environment where you can catch something greater, right? Like if you happen to find it there, hallelujah. But that's not necessarily what's going to happen for most people, right? I'm just checking for comments there. Hey, honey, how are you? Having lots of love on Facebook too. I was trying to check love and it's not letting me do it. Hi, I'm sorry. Bear with me. I'm going to get that together. But for all of you who are not in a relationship yet, and an intimate partner relationship, a consensual, safe, happy relationship yet, I'm not putting the club on the list to go find your folk there. I am saying step out of the box when you're invited by that cousin, that friend, that brother, that sister to a golf outing or a little retreat, even if it's like a micro retreat, like a few hours, a girls' night, a guys' hangout. When you're invited to those things that you've always said, oh, I don't do that, I don't go there, try going. You don't know who you're going to meet. Give yourself an opportunity to catch something greater, but you got to create the environment for you to be able to do that, which means, we always say it, we hear it a lot, getting a little bit uncomfortable, right? And being uncomfortable with the discomfort that's going to come as we're ready to change. So just being mindful of that. Show up. And when we show up in our attempt to create greater, we got to show out. You can't go and have your head down, be looking all angry, like, clearly, you had your day at work. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable because maybe you're more of an introvert and you're not necessarily filled up by other people's energy. And so you're feeling all kinds of stuff. Maybe you're an empath, so you're absorbing other people's energy. And it's hard to turn that down, turn it off, and create barriers for yourself because you didn't know that about yourself or you don't have the tools to do it. I get it. With that said, when you are intentionally going into a space with the attempt to create a better environment for yourself so you can catch something greater in your life, and right now I'm talking about your lover, but it could very well be your next business opportunity, your next leadership opportunity, your next job opportunity, career. It could be so many other things that you're going to catch when you put yourself in these other environments, but you gotta be willing to literally break the box. Like, forget stepping out of a box and coloring outside the lines. Break the box. I say it all the time. So just break it. Hey, Val, welcome. I hope I did that right. But make sure you're willing to do that, right? So we show up and then we show out. we step into the power of all that we are and all that we have. We have to be extremely mindful that we already have what we need, but sometimes it's hard to get to it, right? So if you're struggling with, okay, Naketa, I go to these places, I'm, really ready to have a good time, whether it's a networking opportunity, potentially to attract some greater man, some greater woman, some greater love into your life, what it is for you that you're specifically trying to catch greater of, but you're having a hard time, then we got to back up and do the work, right? Like we have to step up and say, what's going on with me when I walk into these places? Am I nervous? Because if you are, why are you nervous? Are you nervous because you fear that other people are judging you the same way you're judging yourself? Right? Because we're typically judging ourselves a whole lot more than other people. Like, I know how huge and beautiful my brain is, and it looks like, great forehead skin, right? Like all this forehead. I know that I have a beauty mark on my face that most babies can't figure out what it is, and they're trying to snatch it off. Now I can see that as beauty and love myself, or I can be overwhelmed by, oh gosh, my skin doesn't look as clear, or my head looks so big and it's so shiny. I can do that, and no one else is doing that. Everyone else is like, oh, Naketa, you have great skin. Or they're not thinking about my skin at all. How about that? They're just like, she hopefully is a nice person, or has good energy, or was well spoken, or was very kind to me, or something like that. Like, hopefully that's what people are picking up anyway. But typically we're nervous about going into these different environments because we're already judging ourselves and already not being kind to ourselves and already breaking ourselves down. So by the time we get into that different space, that different place, we've already given ourselves about 32 reasons for why we need to hold our head down, and why we're telling ourselves, I don't want to be here. And we're projecting that energy, even though you went because you were trying to create something amazing. So how do you get out of your own head to get that awesome experience you desire instead of the normal anticipated one? Great question. Let me say it again. So how do you get out of your own head to get that awesome experience you desire instead of the normal anticipated one? Part of getting out of your own head requires you to face the fact that you're talking in the first place, because we have so much noise and so much tape playing that it becomes a normal part of our being. But if you recognize it and you're like, Naketa, what are you doing? Janine, what are you doing? Tasha, what are you doing? Val, what are you doing? Like, if you say that to yourself, your own name, obviously, but if you say that to yourself, like you hear yourself doing that, it's one very simple thing that you can do to interrupt the pattern. First is recognizing, of course, like I said, but the thing to do to interrupt the pattern is to literally say, stop it. Stop it. And as soon as you stop it, you're not just stopping the words from having, you're disrupting the line of thought, the tape that was just kind of playing and playing and playing, because you gave yourself something that was unexpected. And you have to do it kindly. You can't be like, stop it, ho. Like, you can't say anything like that that's unkind, because it's counterproductive of what you're trying to do. You don't want to call yourself names. You don't want to be derogatory to yourself. You want to just say, stop it. It's very much like really key just to be important to give yourself a disruptor. Interruption, exactly what I was looking for. Exactly. And sometimes after we say stop it and there's this interruption, but then, if we've really been doing it for a long time, like since we were young, if we've been doing that thing to ourselves, it'll be like, don't know what that was, and it'll go around it, right? So if that happens and you realize that you have a lot of unconscious stuff that's coming up in that moment, trying to keep you from your next best thing, your next great opportunity to catch your greater, whatever that is, then you do have to give yourself permission to allow it for a second. You allow it by recognizing, like, I know what you're doing, and you won't win. So now you're challenging it. You know what I'm saying? So picture this from a physical standpoint. If you are in the street with someone, and I'm from Philly, most of you on here that I recognize are from Philly right here. So you already get it. When you have someone come up to you and they yapping, they saying whatever they want. And for most of us, we like, whatever, keep talking, you say whatever you need to say, right? But if they get to a point that they start to violate your space, which is what we do in our own mind, we're violating our space when we say things that are harder and harsher, that are really starting to break us down on an internal in an internal way, like I was about to say another word, but an internal way, when we know that, that's the same as somebody coming into your personal space. So the first thing we typically do, for the most part, if we've grown past the immature part of ourselves that wouldn't give a warning, like back in the day, not saying that that was me, you, back in the day, you might not have given a warning, you might have just handled it. But when you're mature enough, you give a warning and you say something like back up or stop it. So that would be the stop it. That would be the back up, like back up. But if they stop for a second and then they start to come forward anyway, like our mind does, like, she said stop, he said stop, but I'm gonna go anyway, and then they continue to go, what do you do next? The very next thing you do is for most of us, if you're a trained fighter on some level, you allow them to get a little bit closer. You like literally allow them to get just close enough so you can wrangle them out. You know what I mean? So you can like grab them. So now like, go ahead, because you thought you were going to get close enough so that you could handle me, but now I'm going to handle you. So you let that thought get just close enough where you can then address it and say, this is not happening. You're not going to win. Now in the street, that would be your fist, right? And I'm not encouraging violence for all of you who are on here. It's just the example that is coming to mind right now, and I have no idea why. Y'all pray for me, because obviously there's something going on in my head. But you just make sure that you acknowledge it and you recognize it for that moment. Now, for those of us who are already in a relationship and we're having that same situation come up in our relationships where we're not creating the environments that we need to catch greater, that's not, removing our spouses from ourselves because we want to catch something better. Necessarily. Some people are in very toxic relationships where that may in fact be what it needs to be. But if you're just going through what you go through, we have to stop and recognize, why are we here? Are we here in this place and this go through because everything that I catch my husband doing is not the good stuff? Because I'm not catching him at his greater self? Like, how about recognizing when he stops in the middle of his day to help me with something instead of just being like, okay, and just keep it going because it was an expectation, which sometimes I've done. Like, I've definitely been like in my head because I'm trying to get through, the 10 steps in front of me, and he helped me with step 3. But sometimes you have to slow yourself down and catch them doing greater things. They didn't have to stop or slow down and help you. They didn't have to remember that you loved, dark chocolate cherry pie or whatever, and they brought it back home for you one day because they know you've had a tough week or whatever the case is. They didn't have to do those things. So if we catch more of the greater, we're already changing our environment at home in our personal space. Now, I'm attributing this to our intimate partners, our lovers, but you can look at your kids. Same thing. Catch them doing greater things. Recognize it. Sometimes with just your mouth is reward enough. Other times you want to bring it in with some physical contact and give them a hug. Let them know that you really see what's happening. And of course, you can do the same thing with your intimate partners, right? Like, sometimes it's nice to say, thank you, babe. Sometimes it's good to, bring some of their favorite coffee, tea or something home, or whatever it is that they love, their favorite cheesesteak or something. Other times it's good to bring it on in with some deeper level intimacy. Now, that could just be a very, nice, good, deep hug, or it could be a little bit more. For those of you who are in safe, connecting relationships that are consensual on every level, this is where sex comes in. This is where it's really awesome to thank your partner with some extra juicy love. I got that? Okay. But challenging yourself, more importantly, to do the greater courageous thing so you can catch greater means first recognizing that you haven't been doing a great job at it, that you haven't been showing up in the places that are uncomfortable for you, that you've been going into your little box in your bubble. And fall is here for all of us East Coast